Hey everybody, it's Killjoy Tourniquet coming at you today with a how to play Kog Maw, tips and tricks, how I like to play him. See if we can't get y'all to be in some grade S Kog Maw players up in here. So to start off, we're going to go over Runes Reforged. What I like to take on him is the Lethal Tempo. Overall, it's the only one you want to take on Kog Maw. Giving you that huge extra attack speed burst is insanity. It really gets him going tremendously quicker. Overall, the best thing to take on him. The next rune, the primary one after your Keystone, will be Triumphant Roar. Triumphant Roar, just you heal back whenever you kill somebody. He's got lots of damage, works great for him. Lets him heal up too after he kills someone. And then the secondary one, what I like to do is take the Alacrity. And then the last one is Coup de Grace. Really lets you execute people, deal more damage the lower health they are. With Kog Maw's ultimate, it is an execute. Works out great with that. Really great synergy there. As far as for the secondary path you pick, or I pick that is, I like to do Sorcery actually. And I like to take Gathering Storm and then the Mana Flow Band actually, because Kog Maw can be pretty mana intensive, and that really helps equalize that out early on. As far as summoner spells I like to take, I really like to do Flash and Heal. Pretty standard, especially if your support is taking Exhaust. That's what I like to take. And from there, we will move on to actual gameplay then. Alright everyone, to start off this game, I always start off with a Doran's Blade, Health Pot, and Warding Totem. Pretty standard for ADCs. No different for Kog Maw then. Moving on to abilities, I always take my W first. It increases your range, makes you do max health damage. Really great for trading early on. Really makes up for that 50 less attack range you have on Kog Maw. And letting people bully you. You can be the bully in that case. Second level, I always get Q. It gives you passive attack speed and it decreases their armor and magic resist by a percentage. Really good for shredding down some tank armor and magic resist. Then level 3, get my E. Big old slow field. Really great. Just making sure people can't get away from you. You can catch up to them and wail on them and there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Level 6, you get your ulti. What is it, the damage scales off of how much life they're missing, makes it a really great execute. That's why you take Coup de Grace, really, with Kog Maw. Makes it work really well. You want to make sure to only use it, if you have Mana Flow Band up, you can use it to poke, but I would not use it other than when you're actually fighting with people, as it gets really mana intensive really quickly. Moving on to the first back, what I'll usually get is a recurve bow. Gives you really big versatility in what you're buying later on. In this case, I'm really getting harassed a lot by the MF and the Thresh. Really top tier picks right now. So I gotta get the Vamp Scepter, really give me a little bit more survivability in lane. But definitely get that recurve bow typically though. Moving on to seeing how this actually plays out in a fight. You'll see here, start to attack the Thresh, really get my passive to go, and then I can start beating on Misfortune since that Lethal Tempo procced, giving me that big attack speed buff. Mostly wait around until my W's back up. It's really the bread and butter of Kog Maw and what makes him so good. Getting that extra range and extra damage. So just waiting around, farming a little bit while waiting for that. Waiting for a time to continue this fight. So start being on Thresh again, get that going. See if we can't try to get rid of Thresh really early this fight. So I'll flash up there, since I know I can get the kill. I think I can get the Misfortune, but seeing as how I don't have my E up until it's a little too late, I give up the fight. With this fight, we have Jhin coming in to gank for us. He gets a snare off on Misfortune as soon as we get that slow off. Really lets us wail on her really well. Fortunately, that Thresh really gets on our way. Our Janna takes care of that. We finish off Misfortune. Move on to the Thresh. Overall, we do really well this fight. Unfortunately, the Thresh does get a little bit of the better of us. Since we're dead, no better time to buy some items. So we're going to keep on going for that Blade of the Ruined King. Give me that lifesteal that I need to try to stay alive against the vicious poke from Misfortune. And also get boots. Kog Maw being a mobile ADC, really need to get boots early on. It is very important on him. Something you need to know about Kog Maw, though, lane phase is not his strong suit. It makes it really difficult to really get a lot going early on. You want to make sure that you get out of lane phase with least amount of casualties possible, maybe get a few kills, but really try to focus on that CS if you can, though. One of the best things about Kog Maw is the fact that even if you die, you can still make that death worth something, and that's where his passive comes into play. Not very many champions have a death-related passive, but Kog Maw sure is one of them. And with each of your deaths, you can really make some plays with it. You can make it to where kills will happen, and overall, it just can really make your death feel a little bit better. So in this case, Jan is able to get the kill because of that explosion. Does true damage. Overall, really helpful, especially if you're behind. Just get to use your passive more. With this game, I build pretty weird compared to what I normally get. I usually start off with getting Ginsos into Runins. It's pretty standard build if you see Kog Maw players. This game, going Blade of the Ruined King, really kind of messes that up for me. So I like to go Ginsos as early as I can, but the thing is, having that Runins and hitting everyone else is a very big priority for you. So just make sure to get that Runins early on, and Ginsos can wait. But make sure you're buying whatever is most helpful in lane. If that's a Wit's End because you're facing a high magic damage team, get Wit's End first. Whatever is most helpful. That's why I got Blade this game. Sometimes I'll get Gensos if I can manage that. Just really depends on how your game's going, if you want to get Gensos, Wit's End, or Blade. People always wonder what to do during that weird post-lane phase, kind of before grouping up stage. As an ADC, you really want to just make sure to go mid lane, try to get as much CS as you can, maybe make routines back to bottom, pushing that back. You really want to just farm up as much as possible, get those power spikes going real early. But for now, I'm going to show you how big the mid-game power spike is for Kog Maw once you do have a couple items under your belt, how much damage you're able to dish out, and if you're able to zone the enemy away, like how little they're able to do about it. So they can really just get punished, like you have that huge W range, and then you can just keep hammering them with your ult to shut her down, and then you can just keep on harassing, really farming, really trying to get that next tower. That's really what you need to be focusing on, pushing objectives. Something you need to always be wary of is fighting in the river. Not a whole lot of space to maneuver, immobile ADC. Nothing usually ever good comes from that. What you need to make sure is your teammates will go first before you, and just try to stay as far enough away from the enemies where they can't really get to you, but you can still get to them. So just try to stay far away where you can pick them off from the back. Something that can be really hard and stressful in this game is trying to hold a tower when there's a full team trying to push in. It's really stressful, pretty hard. Not a whole lot of good can usually come from it. If you make sure to utilize your range and just really zone them away to where they can't reach you but you can reach them, you can make sure to really punish them if they do want to push in on you. But overall, you'll usually be able to defend towers really well, especially with that Runins. Unfortunately, no matter how fed you are, not every fight's going to go your way. You're a big target as Kog Maw, you're a big immobile fortress. What you need to do is make sure to just keep that range from them and keep trying to beat on whoever you can, whoever's in range. Preferably, the high damage threats that can't really get to you. Try to get rid of them. Unfortunately, in this fight, our Jhin was actually dead when we started it, but we wanted to stop that Baron, and that Echo just barely has enough damage to snipe this Baron from us. So that feels pretty bad. Bad on us. If I would change it up, I would have stayed behind that little ledge there whenever Singed went in. That would have been even better position, made it a little bit harder for them to dive on me. Just probably would have been able to survive that fight and probably would have gotten the Baron. So it was also a misplay by me as well. Everyone has those really awkward times whenever you're playing. Not a whole lot's going on. You need to really make sure to make your time as efficient as possible. One of those things, always taking red buff. Always super helpful on any ADC. And then if you're not able to push up any lanes, if they're already pushed up, make sure to put wards on objectives, especially the next one's coming up. So like this dragon here, you need to make sure to drop a ward there. And we don't have Baron for a while, so don't gotta worry about that. Back in the day, Kog Maw used to have this build called Siege Maw because of how good he is at sieging. Not quite as good as it used to be, but he's still really good at sieging even by himself. Just really able to pick people apart from far away and taking towers, pushing them off, making them not want to really contest. Coming up is why you want to get to late game with Kog Maw. At this point in the game, I've even sold my boots to get another item, and just how incredibly devastating it is. It's pretty unreal, especially while you're playing. Like it's very thrilling just to be able to shred through people and them not really being able to do a whole lot to you about it. So here we go. We get the Rengar. He's really the big damage threat that I see right off hand. From there, move on to the Echo and finish off the Katarina then. From here, go and win the game, and that's why late game Kog Maw is so scary and you want to get there as quick as possible. If ADC isn't for you, check out next week whenever I'll be coming out with how to play LeBlanc and overall just how to terrorize your opponents with her. And I'll see you guys next week.